starting off my week right with a Dunkin' check-in. It is Monday morning. It is the first day of the work week, and I'm already struggling. I'm running a little bit late today, but I could not sacrifice my coffee for the day. Also, look at how pretty this is, because I don't get cream in my coffee. I just get the sweet cream cold foam, so then it like sinks to the bottom, and it's so freaking pretty. But yeah, this is my first update for the week. As far as what I'm about to get into, I'm about to walk into my office and hope that I am not crazy busy, but I know that there's some things I need to catch up on from last week. And then I'm gonna be hopefully reading today. I am working on Wild Side by Elsie Silver. I am about halfway through, so I have the second half to work on this week, and it'll hopefully be finishing tomorrow. And then last night I also started my first arc of this week, which is Their Monstrous Hearts by Yeet Turin, and this book is already starting off really creepy and weird. It's a guy who finds out that he is inheriting from his grandmother's death her like butterfly collection, and he's like, okay. So he has not been around his grandmother for quite a few years, so he's a little bit like confused with why he's inheriting it, but he's about to like go and find out what's all going on after she had passed. The first chapter, like the prologue, was about the grandmother, so I'm a little interested to see like how it's all going to like round out with her dying, because she was obviously alive in the prologue. So I am excited to be reading this book. The fun thing is that I got approved for the NetGalley ARC, but I also got approved for the NetGalley ALC. So I have the ebook and the audio that I'm working on right now, and it is so exciting because I love using an audiobook, but a lot of times when you get an ARC, you don't have the audio because it's not out yet. So I'm excited to have both of those, and it means I'm going to work through this pretty quickly, but I can give a more well-rounded review, which is exciting. So that's how my work week is starting. This is week 2 of Realmathon. I am so excited to be kicking off this week with hopefully a strong start. Last week was a crazy successful week for reading, so I'm hoping I can keep up the momentum for this week as we are going into week 2, but I will of course be checking in with you later. Happy Wednesday. It is time for my midweek review of all the books that I have read so far this week, and I do have a couple of updates to make. The first one is that I did finish a book so far this week, and this isn't surprising because I started reading it last week, but it's fine because the book that I just finished is Wild Side by Elsie Silver. This is going to be no surprise whatsoever, but this is a full 5-star read. Could be 6 stars if 6 stars was a thing. I'm obsessed with this book. Do I care about wrestling after this? No. But if I did care about wrestling, I would care about Reese. He would be the one that would get me into it because I love Reese in this book. I love Reese, I love Tabby, Milo. The whole story is just too cute. I love their relationship. The dynamic is so tense and I'm obsessed. This is a marriage of convenience and it is to die for. Okay, I love a fake relationship. I am thinking about it nonstop since I finished it yesterday, and yeah, I don't want to do anything but think about this book at this point. Makes it hard to continue on, but last week was when I went to the release for this. I just didn't get to start it right away, but I went to the release and I was able to get my book signed by Elsie Silver and also Samantha Brentmore, who did the audiobook. Freaking obsessed. But I also already had it pre-ordered from Barnes & Noble. So I got the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, which is nice because it came with some art in the front, which is super exciting. Also, the front and back have this little design on it that matches the deluxe edition, but really this art is just stunning. I am loving looking at the fan art now that I've finished the book. The fan art that people have come up with for these characters, I'm obsessed. So yeah, I have 2 copies of this book. Don't come for me, okay? When you love something, you get more than one of it. Now, the next update that I have is that I started reading Different Seasons by Stephen King. This is the book club pick for my Stephen King book club on Discord, and this is 4 novellas. I have read the first novella, which is Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. I'm sitting at like 3.5 stars for this first story. I thought it was relatively interesting, but it did feel a little bit slow moving. There were some parts and descriptions that were very, very hard to read about the experience of being in prison and the treatment mostly by the other prisoners. Just things that were happening that were intense. But in general, I like the plot of this first novella. I just don't think it hit as hard as I was hoping that it would, given that I know a lot of people really like the movie that is adapted from the story. But yeah, I finished the first one. It was about 115-ish pages, I think. And so I am a quarter of the way through this, but I still have 3 more novellas to work through, which is exciting. And it's nice that this one gets to be broken up a bit. I'm not quite sure when I'll read the second one because I was meaning to do one a week and then I forgot to read one the first week of the month. So I'm already behind somehow, but it's fine because with 3 stories left, I can easily break that up and read the rest. But then the other update that I have is that I am in the middle of one of my Neck Alley arcs, Their Monstrous Hearts by Yi Turin. And this book is unfortunately not as exciting as I thought it was going to be. I am really not having that much fun with it. I am somewhere in the 60-ish% range, somewhere in the 60s. I'm not quite sure. So about 2/3 of the way through this book. And like, I'm not really sure what's happening. It's kind of slow. I feel like my brain is wandering when I'm listening and reading it on my Kindle. I'm doing both and I still just feel like it's not gripping me the way that I thought it would. This is supposed to be like a gothic horror about a guy whose grandmother dies and he finds out that he is the sole heir to her manor. Like he inherits her house and he has to like travel to another country. I can't remember what country they're in. He has to travel to her house. And then he also inherits her butterfly collection and he's like, what? And so most of the story is him going to like meet the people that were in her life in her older age because he hasn't talked to her in a long time. And he ends up finding a journal that she had written for him and he is reading it. So a lot of the story is kind of told, I would say like 2 timelines kind of, because you're reading him and his experience with this like inheritance thing of like after her death, but we're also reading Perihan's journal and that is from her timeline of like her telling a story. So we're getting both of these stories kind of at the same time, back and forth. I'm gonna be honest, the chapters are super freaking long. It's not a long book, it's only 320 pages, but the chapters are really long. And in the ebook, it's not broken up very clearly. And I know this is just part of like the ARC formatting, which is fine, and it can be fixed before release, but it is a little bit hard to navigate in the ebook copy. I think the audiobook is done pretty well. Sometimes it's a little bit off-putting. The narrator has an accent when he is speaking dialogue, but not when it is like scene setting or just like the in-between like narration. And there are 2 narrators, so we do have a narrator for Ricardo, the like grandson, and then there is a female narrator for Perihan, the grandmother, in her like past storytelling voice, which is helpful. But unfortunately, this book is just not hitting the way that I was hoping it would, especially because I have both formats. But it is good that no matter what, I can still review it on Neck Alley and get credit for both of those. And honestly, I know people are going to yell at me because I should just be DNFing this. Like if it was any other book, I probably would DNF it. The problem is I'm already 2/3 of the way through. It is a relatively quick read. I am listening at 3 times speed. Like I'm zooming through it. It's really not that bad. I'm just not really that interested. But here's the thing. I, in my curiosity, looked up some other reviews of this book to see if I was the only one that was experiencing this type of feeling. And well, 1, I'm not, but 2, there was somebody who had said that the last 30% picked up a lot and was wild. Now I'm about at that mark, so things really should start picking up, hopefully. And honestly, they are a little bit picking up already. I can see where things are getting more exciting, understanding this like horror element that has to do with butterflies. It's all very confusing, if I'm being honest, but also if things are going to be picking up in the next like couple of minutes of me reading, then absolutely I will keep going. My goal is absolutely to finish this book today. I don't want to be reading it past today. I want to be able to submit my reviews. This book will be coming out on April 8th, so that's something to keep in mind. But after that, I am going to be working on some of my other Neck Alley books because I have 3 more arcs after this that I need to read, and I gotta knock those out pretty quickly. So that is my plan for the rest of the week, as well as the updates that I have so far. Only 1 completed book this week so far. Feels like such a letdown after last week, but at the same time, I know why. My life has been very busy in the last couple days, so it's fine. It's all fine. But anyway, that's enough of that. I will keep you updated later in the week. update. It's been a while since I've checked in on anything, and that's because I haven't really had anything to check in with. I'm gonna be honest, the past week has been pretty slow, other than reading all of the Rebel Blue Ranch series over the Gala of Peace, which I talked about in my Gala of Peace vlog. Other than that weekend, it's been a pretty slow moving couple of weeks for me in reading. I've kind of hit a slump, and I know what caused it, and it's trying to read a lot of thrillers because I had a lot of thriller arcs, and I'm just really not in the thriller mode right now. So it's been really tough, and I have not been reading a lot. I've actually been playing more games on my computer than anything, so it's been really tough. But there are 2 books that I am reading or have read this week that really have been pulling me out of my slump, which has been such a good feeling, honestly. The first one is Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. So this one I am almost done with. I have like less than 100 pages, I think. But I will be finishing this one hopefully today, if not today, tomorrow. This is the first book in the Gold Rush Ranch series, and this is the first series that I just skipped because I went straight into Chestnut Springs. So this is the first one, and I can already tell, like, I don't love it as much as I have loved every single other one of Elsie Silver's books. However, the writing, it's still her writing, obviously, and it's very easy, it's very natural. A lot of the dialogue, the cadence just feels so natural. It feels like normal conversation, which is really, really fun. I also feel like there's just such a cozy feeling to these like ranch settings. The plot of this one is about a horse trainer who is working at the ranch owned by the male main character, and so this is kind of like a boss employee vibe, but she is basically tasked with turning a very, very grumpy and just a really ornery kind of horse into a winner, and she's already doing a really great job, so that's wonderful. But yeah, I'm almost done with this one. I just haven't quite got to finish it today because, well, yeah, I just didn't get a chance to finish it yet. But the one that I did finish today, and I don't have the book with me because I already gave it to my husband to read, but I just finished reading Sunrise on the Reaping by Susan Collins, the new Hunger Game book that just came out this week, and I finished reading it today, and I am not okay. I am still processing. I'm absolutely obsessed with this book. I think that one of the things that makes me love it so much, I mean, obviously I'm gonna love it because it's the Hunger Games, and I just have always loved that series, but I think in comparing this to The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes that came out like 5 years ago or 4.5 years or whatever, I feel like comparing this one to that one, this one is just, it's everything that I wish that Ballad had been. Ballad was a little too long. It was about a character that I didn't really care about going into the story. I wasn't excited to hear this story, and then the actual plot went in a couple directions that I just did not care about. However, with this book, it was about a character I already loved and I already cared about. It is a lot shorter than Ballad was, and it was absolutely insane. The plot was fantastic. The story, the way that emotions are absolutely just ravaged in this book. I devoured it. I never wanted to put it down. It was truly so freaking good. It is broken down into 3 parts. So I did read this kind of over the course of 3 days, technically 4 because I almost fell asleep reading it last night. I was so tired. But each of those parts is so strong. Ballad was also split up into multiple parts, and I thought that the last part was dull. It was my least favorite part in the book and the movie as well. In this one, I feel like there is not a single part that I don't like. I loved every step of the way. From the first page, you are thrown in. Not only is it nostalgic, it's got callbacks to lots of things from the other books, both the original trilogy and the other prequel. It also has so many characters that are so fascinating to read about in this setting. I just love what we get to learn. I love the developments that we get from Ballad to Sunrise, the differences and like over time how things have changed, but then also being able to pin this in reference to the Hunger Games that comes 24, 25 years later when we read the trilogy. I just love how it was all done. I feel like Susan Collins is an actual mastermind. This was brilliant. It was everything. If you couldn't tell, this is 5 stars for sure, without a doubt. It was absolutely incredible, and I'm going to be thinking about this forever. I made the joke on my threads that it's not called Sunrise on the Reaping, it's Sunrise on the Weeping, and that's because I wept. I wept dramatically at the end of this book. Well, honestly, more than once, but specifically like even just the process of finishing the book and closing it and realizing like that was it. I had an emotional time, okay? But it was so fun. And that's what I love about books. I love being able to cry at a book. So it was a great reading experience. But now it means that I have to jump back into a couple other things. And I'm a little bit scared because I'm in the middle of one of my Neck Alley arcs, which is a cozy mystery about the Golden Girls, Murder by Cheesecake by Rachel Ekstrom Courage. I am still working on that one. And I am, honestly, I'm like at least, I think I'm 2/3 of the way. Like I'm gonna get there. Oh my God, I almost forgot this was another update that I wanted to do, so I need to do it now. But this week has been so exciting for me because I got my very first package that was physical ARC book mail. Now I read ARCs on Neck Alley all the time, literally every single month, all the time. But I've never been sent a physical ARC in the mail before. And I was so excited. I knew this was coming because I got the UPS notification. And so I was just waiting because I had no idea what this was going to be. But I got my first package and this was from Gallery Books, which is just so freaking exciting. I get their emails and I get some of their e-arcs a lot, but this is the first time they've ever sent me anything physically. So this first one is One Yellow Eye by Lee Bradford. And this one is kind of about a zombie epidemic, the aftermath, I believe. Okay, let me just read the top here because this is basically what I remember from the synopsis that I'd read. In the aftermath of a zombie epidemic, a brilliant scientist desperately searches for a cure to the virus while hiding a monumental secret. Her undead husband, the last of the known infected, whom she has locked in her guest room. So basically, all the zombies are gone, but she kept one hidden because she didn't want to get rid of her husband. This sounds so fascinating. And this one is a horror. The cover is absolutely stunning. I am obsessed. And I'm so excited to get to that one. This one was a surprise because I did not request this one specifically. So this one was just added in, but it was part of like a package deal. The actual bag that they put it in was also matching these two books and it was so freaking cool. So this one is Her Wicked Roots by Tanya Pell. This one is about a main character named Cordelia whose brother is missing. And when she goes to look for him, she ends up finding this like botanical estate and she's going to meet some other interesting characters on her journey to figure out what happened to her brother. And she's going to learn a lot of secrets and things are going to get weird. People are going to start getting sick and it's just going to be really crazy. So this book, while I feel like I have a very vague understanding of what is going to happen in here, I am so excited to get to these two books. It is beyond exciting that this was gifted to me. Like it's so cool to be able to get these in the mail. And as the first time, I literally I wanted to cry. It was so exciting. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because this was an exciting day for me. We have one final update to give for the end of week 3 of Realmathon. Now I have combined weeks 2 and 3. So I've read quite a few books over the last 2 weeks, but I managed to get in 3 more books during week 3. The problem is that I ended on kind of a lower note because I had 2 3-star reads in a row and they were just kind of disappointing. I was really excited for both of these books, but they kind of let me down a bit. So the first one is Off to the Races by Elsie Silver, which is probably going to be surprising because last time I said that I was really liking this. I was liking the characters. I love the setting, always do. Always love the setting of her books and the writing. Elsie Silver's writing is just so comfortable and natural. But the third act conflict made me want to pull my hair out. I was so frustrated. I was so irritated. I was personally offended on behalf of this character. Like Billy deserved to be angry and I don't think she held on to that anger long enough. Like I wanted her to be rageful over what happened and she moved on from that conflict so fast that I was like, girl, be angry. You're allowed to sit in that anger. You're allowed to acknowledge that you will be forgiving him. You're allowed to acknowledge that the relationship will move past this, but that doesn't mean that you have to just ignore what happened and not be upset about it. And I feel like she was upset for a little bit, but then immediately was like, okay, you're fine, because things worked out in the end. I just think she should have been more angry. And it made me angry on her behalf because of that. So this book was really disappointing at the end, but it's book 1 of the series. And also this is I think Elsie Silver's debut. This is the first one. And so I get it. And I'm just hoping that things are going to look up from here because this was not what I was hoping for. The good thing is I love the setting. I love the Gold Rush Ranch and all of the vibes there. And I really like the set of characters that we are gearing up for. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous for one of the pairings that I know is coming. I'm going to trust the process here, but as of right now, I don't want to read about this one character, but it's fine. I will trust Elsie Silver, so it's gonna be fine. But This one was sadly only 3 stars. The other 3-star read that I ended the week with was my arc that I started like 2 weeks ago, and this was Murder by Cheesecake by Rachel Ekstrom Courage. And this one I was really excited for because it's a murder mystery that is centered around, themed to the Golden Girls. Like literally the Golden Girls are the main characters, the ones we know and love, Dorothy and Sophia and Rose and Blanche, all of the ones that we love. And so I was really excited to follow these characters as they solve a murder. And honestly, I think the thing that disappointed me the most was just the plot. It was not as interesting as I was hoping for. This is a cozy mystery, and I think maybe I'm just not a cozy mystery gal, and that's fine. This may just not be the style of story for me. It just wasn't exciting enough because basically for the plot, Rose's cousin is getting married, and Rose is basically planning the whole wedding, and there's a lot of family drama that's going into that as far as like the bride and groom and each of their families are like they're just clashing a lot. And in the midst of all the wedding planning, a man gets murdered and his body is found in the industrial freezer of the hotel that's owned by the groom's family. The problem is that the person that is found dead in the freezer happened to have gone on a date with Dorothy like the day before. So now Dorothy is a person of interest in this investigation, and thus the 4 Golden Girls are going to set off on a mission to solve the murder themselves because Dorothy needs to get the police off her back. They're like really aggressive against her. Like they're just really, really convinced that this poor woman murdered this man. So anyway, that's the plot of this book. And for literally the entire book, it is just back and forth, focusing a little bit here on the murder and a little bit here on the wedding planning. And I think there was a little bit too much focus on the wedding and not enough on the murder. But here's the thing, and the strongest suit of this book and why I never gave up on it. There were times where I probably could have DNF'd it, but I was really having fun with the characters. I think this author has an incredible grasp on the characterization of the Golden Girls. Like, I truly believe that if a television show episode had been adapted from this particular book, it would have felt exactly like it fit into the Golden Girls timeline. Like, the characterization was out of this world. The mannerisms, the dialogue, everything felt perfect. It felt like these characters the way we know them from the TV, which was why I read the book in the first place. So that was really fun. Every time one of them opened their mouths, I genuinely could picture the TV character saying these things, which is really, really fun to be able to read it that way. I just wish that the plot had carried enough to also keep it really interesting. I do like the way things unfolded towards the end. Like, the actual resolution of everything was pretty fun, but it just took a long time to get there. And like, the only thing that kept me going was loving the Golden Girls. And I just don't think that that was quite enough for me in this particular instance, but it's fine because I was able to finish that book, get my NetGalley review sent off, and one more check mark on my TBR for the month, and just in general my like ongoing NetGalley check. But that brings me to the end of week 3, so that brings me to the end of this vlog because this is a very long kind of collection of clips from 2 whole weeks of reading. But like I said, I'm still really happy with the progress that I've made throughout the readathon so far. This has been, I think, the most books I've read in a month so far this year. I mean, I know we're only in month 3, so that's like not that hard to beat so far, but this is my best month so far, and that's really exciting for me in general. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the final week of Realmathon can bring and seeing how many more books I can rack up before the end of the month to get some more points for my monarchs so that we can hopefully win. But this is your regular reminder that if you're not already subscribed to Cassidy from Covers with Cassidy, you need to do that because she's the one that put all of Realmathon together, planned everything, has made this month so freaking incredible. It has been so much fun, and I cannot wait to find out who is going to win. Ugh, it's gonna be the Monarchs. Like, I already know it's gonna be the Monarchs. I just need it to be official. Like, I just need it to be announced, you know? But other than that, that's really all I've got here. So I want to thank you for watching this video, for keeping up with all of my ramblings, my excitement over books, my disappointments, unfortunately, but just keeping up with everything that I had to say. I love having you here, and I love to hear your comments. If you want to share any thoughts that you have on any of the books that you have also read or ones that you're excited for, I'm just so thankful to have you here. So I would love to have you subscribe to me if you want to continue coming back, getting notifications, all of that jazz, so that you don't miss out on anything I have coming. I will be continuing the vlog. I've been having a lot of fun getting back into vlogging, so this has been really great, and I will be continuing as we go forward. Also, this is a little sneak peek that you get a treat if you made it to the end of this video. I have a brand new TBR game that's coming for the month of April. So if you watch this video, you are gonna know that I have a new TBR game coming, and I'm very excited for it. I actually have been putting it together a little bit today, and I'm going to be putting it together over the next couple of days in preparation of putting my TBR together. So make sure that you stay tuned for my April TBR because you're gonna get to see the premiere of a brand new game, which I'm very excited for. But anyway, that's all I've got. So I want to thank you again for watching this video, and I really hope that I will see you in the next one. Bye!